Welcome back to the Darkroom. So today I'm going to be printing a series of images that I took probably back in January, I think it was, at one of my camera club portrait group events. I've not done much portraiture or proper portraiture on film before. I've done a fair bit using my digital camera, but what I really wanted to do was to see if I could take a roll of FP4 and see what it looked like as it came out in the darkroom. So what we're going to do is look at a particular image. We'll look at all of these on the light tray, on my light table, and then we'll choose one and we'll look at printing that one up. This is as much as a mystery it is for me as it might be for some of you, so yeah, let's see what it looks like. So here's the here are the negatives in which I shot. I think these would have been back in January 2020. About that, probably January 2020. As part of my camera club, we have a portrait group, and this guy came in. He's all tattooed and has a really interesting look. And while everyone was using things like digital images, and I did manage to get a couple of digital images, I also brought along my my Canon EOS 33 and a roll of FP4. And what I wanted to do was see if I could actually get some decent images in the studio with a model on film, and then I wanted to print it up. And I haven't decided if I'm going to go with RC or fiber yet, and yeah, just sort of I wanted to pick out something that looked really interesting, something a bit different. I don't normally shoot that many portraits on film, so or print them. So what I really wanted to do was just, you know, try something else, try something out, and try something new. You can see varying shots, some head shots, some mid shots, shirt on, shirt off. Sort of, you can see, I just don't know which one I really want to choose. Sort of one that's a bit almost 3/4. I quite like that. I do like this one. This one looks nice. I think I'm going to give, oh, this is quite nice too. The expression going on there. So I think let's print, oh, I'm going to have a look at printing this one up first, and we'll see what it looks like. So this is frame 21 on Ilford FP4. So let's give that one a go, and we'll see what it looks like. So we have our developing tray, stop, the fix, and then I have like a rinse or just a holding tray there for when I then go and wash them properly later. What do we say? Frame 21. It's that one there. So what I like to do is just make sure that there's no dust. Set you square in the middle. In fact, I'll use those pins up. Set you square in the middle there. And then we'll slide it in. But what I'm going to do now is set the enlarger height so that we have a decent sized image to cover the paper. Somewhere like that. In fact, now one of the advantages of using this universal negative holder is the fact that I can, as I said, slide these little bars in and out. So you may or may not be able to see this right now, but I'm able to just get rid of the sprocket holes and the other negatives that I'm not really that interested in for this particular print. Now all I'm going to do is move my easel to match, and then once again I need to go larger. This is the one downside of using a 75mm lens instead of the 50mm lens for the 35mm negs, is the fact that I need to go higher to print. So it's not really an issue, it's just, you know, something to be aware of. Further you are away due to the inverse square law, the longer your prints will take, which if you need to do dodging and burning isn't necessarily a bad thing. So all I'm doing now is just setting the height. Sorry, setting the. All I'm doing right now is setting the focus so that we can. Setting the focus, and this should. Perfect. Allow me to then take a nice print. So I'm just going to use my little focus finder, and now we're actually going to. I'm not actually looking to. It's a grain finder, really. I'm not actually looking to put the image in focus. I'm looking to try and make sure that the actual grain itself is in focus. So one hand up on the bellows. And then, this is fairly hard to do on such a fine-grained film. It can take a little while to get right. There we go, I think that's about right. So the next thing to do now is to grab some paper, cut it into strips, start making some test strips, and we'll see what the ballpark figure for our exposure should be. As with any print, let's make a test strip. Now I'm trying to take a leaf out of Dave on Twitter's book, and I'm not actually going to use a timer for the development. I might use one for the fix, but I'm just going to develop this and see what it looks like, and then stop it when I think it should be ready, which is normally about 1 minute to 2 minutes. So it goes in first. Look at that, you can see it's already coming up. This is a much quicker development process than using fiber prints, for example, which take a while. And also the multigrade 5 seems to come up a lot quicker. There we go, you can already see, look at that. This is what? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I believe we're missing a 35. Or rather, no we're not, because I can't count. It's 30. So it's a total of 30 seconds, and I think that's probably already developed. It probably doesn't need much more in the developer. So let's take it out. Now this is fresh multi-grade developer. 5, 10, 15, 20 look good, but we'll stop it, we'll bung it in the fix, and then we'll put it into the holding tray, and we'll have a quick look and see what it looks like, see where we think our correct exposure should at least be, or roughly what it should be, and then we can sort of start to play around with that. So a few seconds in the stop. Right, now let's bung it straight in the fix. Now once it's in the fix, and I like to give it a few seconds, you can turn the light back on, and that allows you to really have a look at the image a lot better. Now ideally you should dry it and then look at it, because the prints do look slightly different when they're dry, but I haven't got time for that. So let's have a look. So as you can see here, this is way too bright. This isn't as dark as I thought it was going to be, but actually maybe the 25 seconds is a pretty good rough exposure. So let's try a print at 25 seconds with grade 2, and then we can start to play around with potentially dodging and burning this as we go, if we need to. Paper goes on. We'll set this to 25 seconds. Now there are some people who say that you should not leave it on for the 25 seconds, but do 5-second increments. Maybe that'll make a difference, I'm not sure. Now this is a pretty old easel, so I'm just going to weigh it down slightly. See if I've got that padlock will do. And yeah, let's give this first print a go. So this is grade 2. We are F8, 25 seconds on Ilford multigrade 5. And literally I'm just waiting for 25 seconds. Now hopefully this will also show the full image. Well, so this will show the full image. Here we go, we're now off. So as I said, this will show the full image, and we'll get a good idea as to whether or not 25 seconds is a good exposure at grade 2. I'll then probably do another quick test strip, which will allow me to look for the eyes. The eyes in a portrait are really important. They need to not only be in focus, but also they need to look natural. So we are into the developer. I'll rock you backwards and forwards, and I can already see that coming up now. And that's looking nice as it comes up. Actually, I think 25 seconds is almost bang on. I might split grade this just to try and bring out some highlights, but actually all of this was done in the studio. All of this lighting was set up properly. His eyes are not in shadow, which means I don't need to dodge them. And I think the tattoos look really good. I think this has come out really nicely. That's the image. That's the image under red light. Let's flick on the main light. Make sure that my box is closed. Good, it is. As I said, I don't think that needs any dodging and burning, to be honest. I think that looks good. So, let's give this a wash. We'll make sure it goes into the... we'll fix this for another minute. We're in rapid fix, so it doesn't need to be fixed for very long. I will then put this in the wash, and we'll give it a go. One thing I am spotting right this second is just a little spot there. I'll see if that's on the negative in the carrier, because that way I won't have to do anything to get rid of it on the final print. But otherwise, I think 25 seconds is bang on for that. It's not often you get it first time. I'm pretty happy. Okay, so let's give this a wash. I'll have a look at the negative and see if I can get rid of that spot. As I'm looking at this in the wash, and I'm not looking at the back of the camera, and I'm looking at it through under the normal light, I can see that maybe the highlights are probably a little too dark. So I might try doing a bit of a split grade here, and I think I will just do one more print and just see if I can compare, see if I can bring up the highlights just a touch. It doesn't need much, but a little bit. You can tweak these things until the cows come home, until you're thoroughly happy. And I'm pretty happy with this as a base image, but we'll just see what we can do with it, see if we can get something better. So what you do is you halve the time that it took for your print to come out at grade 2, so that would be 12.5 seconds, and then you split that across the two different grades, so grade 0 and grade 5. Now I know that I want to bring up my highlights slightly more, so what I'm actually going to do is probably do something like 10 seconds at grade 0 and 12.5 seconds at grade 5. So let's move this down to 10 seconds, and I'll put my grade 0 filter in. And then we'll give this print a go and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so as you can see, here's our model, and it is under the red light, and this is the new split grade print, and then this is the older print. Now I think I prefer the darker tones in this older print, but we'll just have a look at what the lighter tones look like when we turn the light on, because that was really the issue I was having. Yeah, so to my eye, the highlights are spot on with this. It looks a bit brighter on the camera. I'm not able to. There we go. Let's maybe go somewhere here. So that looks nice. Whereas this looks a bit grayer and a bit darker. It's not. I quite like this image. It's a nice gritty image, but I'm going to run this one at 10 seconds for the grade 0 filter, keeping those highlights the same, and then we'll just darken up all of those dark patches by about, let's go with 5 seconds. Let's give that 5 seconds a go. If it's a problem, doesn't matter. We have a really nice image. We have two different images to choose from. Might mean that maybe it only needs 2.5 seconds, but let's give 5 seconds a go. Okay. So this is it under the red light again. As you can see that the darker areas are much darker, whilst I think that the highlights have been left pretty much untouched. This is the previous one, so this is the split grade, but with only 13 seconds on grade 5. You can see the darker areas are much lighter. And if I flick the light on, yeah, I can see that perfectly. So those highlights look really nice. They are exactly what I was looking for. The darker areas have got darker, and his tats have really started to stand out. There's been more contrast with his tattoos. Such an interesting array of tattoos on his body. Makes a very interesting character. And so this is the previous image, the one which was split toned from grade 0 for 10 seconds and grade 5 for 13 seconds. As you can see, it doesn't quite pop as much. It's still a nice image, still there, but we can go better with this image. Okay, so all that's left now is to put these in the, all that's left now is to wash this image dry, and we'll see what it looks like. So as you can see, this is the test strip that we did, 5 second increments at grade 8 with 5 second increments at grade 2 with at f8. We then moved on to do a full scale print at 25 seconds. I quite like this image, but I decided that his skin tones were probably just a little bit too grey for me, and I wanted to bring them out. So I went to a split grade printing where we took into account the 25 seconds, and I decided to pull back the highlights slightly with 10 seconds at grade 0 and what do I do? 10 seconds at grade 0 and 13 seconds at grade 5. I really liked his skin tones in this, but I decided I wanted a bit more punch, so I then reprinted it at grade 0 for 10 seconds again. As you can see, those highlights look good, and then I decided to go a bit more contrasty, and I printed the darks at grade 5 for 18 seconds. Yeah, and I think that looks good, so I'm happy with that final print. Okay, and there you have it. So we've gone from the negatives that we shot back in January. We had a look at the light table. We chose frame 21. That was probably my favorite. We went through a round of different sort of exposures, settling on, at least to start with, 25 from my test strip. We then did a multi-grade split, and I finally chose to go with this one, which was grade 0 for 10 seconds to really bring out his skin tones and the highlights in his face. And then we decided to go a bit longer in the darks, and so we had 18 seconds in the darks. So, and that gave a nice contrasty print with nice skin tones. So yeah, I'm rather enjoying this one. There's a few more on that roll that I think I might want to print up and have a look at, but other than that, I think I'm going to be doing more studio film photography. I enjoyed that, so yeah, I guess until next time, thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe, hit the bell and to see more of my videos. Thank you very much, and see you soon.